Please welcome the incredible Kelly Hubbell.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Me too. I can't wait to talk about all things house manager.
I mean, it's a good topic. I love this topic.
That's a great topic. Yeah. I mean, first of all, we talk highly of our house manager, Betty, who's been like the pinnacle of our health and existence at home with our kids. We couldn't do what we do without that support. And I understand that there's some people that can't afford it. And we're just going to get that off the table because I have an incredible episode with Jillian Harris where we talk about like the beginning steps of how to set yourself up to be able to create that capacity and the resources to be able to have the support at home. But this episode is for somebody who is looking for that help at home, who has already made the decision that they want to do it. And now they just want to know like the how, the what does this look like? Why should I be doing this? How do I have this conversation with my husband or my wife?
Yeah.
And like, what are the things people are talking about? So when did you get into this whole world of being like the go-to person to help people find house managers?
Yeah. I mean, let's get into the details. I will say that if you told me 10 years ago that I would own a business helping families find house managers, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong person. But Sage Haus was born from my own experience as a super overwhelmed mom of now I have three kids, 6, 4, and 2. But it was after we had our second, like the wheels were falling off the bus and the mental load and the invisible labor was eating me alive. I have, just like you, a husband who's a small business owner, entrepreneur, and we both have career goals and a lot on our plate, but like in a good way. They're all things that we like wanted to take on, kids and careers. And for us, my belief is there just aren't enough hours in the day, even with 2 highly functioning capacity individuals. And so we need more support. And I realized that when I like was about to hit burnout. And so what we did was find a house manager. I feel like there's so much nuance and we can talk about all the in between of that. But just like you, it was life changing for us, for our relationship, for like my ability to be a better mom and be more present in everything I was doing. And long story short, it changed my life so much that I left my corporate job a little over a year ago to completely dedicate my career to helping other families find that game changer, that house manager or family assistant that just like changes their life. And it's way more fulfilling than selling data software.
Yeah, I mean, I bet. So what was the first thing or the first tasks you had your house manager do?
Oh my gosh. That is like, so the story behind that is when I was hitting my burnout and I'm like a super nerd, like spreadsheet person. What I did was I sat down one night, I made this huge list, this spreadsheet of all the things I was doing managing our household. And then I had like a column for how long it was taking me and how much I enjoyed it on like a scale level. And then I added it up.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah. 0, 0, 0. I added up all of the minutes and like, we're talking like I added every 2-minute task in there, like changing the coffee filter and like filling up the car with gas once a week, everything. And I was spending 22 hours a week managing our household. So I started thinking like, okay, what are the things we can take off? So to answer your, it was like the meal prep, the laundry, the filling up the car with gas, taking our dog on an extra walk every day because his happiness is like my happiness, So in putting together this list of all of the things I was doing managing our house, which ended up showing me I was at about 22 hours a week managing our household on top of my job, my full-time job, I realized like something needs to give. In fact, what happened was I took this spreadsheet to my husband. I was like, hey, honey, you want a glass of wine? And be like, poured a glass of wine. And I projected this spreadsheet onto the TV in my living room. Okay. Like This is like the intensity of who I am, Renee. I projected my spreadsheet.
I'm going to tell you a story after too. Okay, go. Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, this is all the stuff that I'm doing. Is there anything you want to add? And also, what do you think? And he says, I think this looks like a job description.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's because it is a job. Mm-hmm. And these are the things that need to get done in order for our home to keep working. And that was the point at which basically I got like green light, like we got to do whatever we need to do here to simplify our life and to like basically buy back our time so that we can spend it with our kids in these like very few fleeting hours that we have in the morning and evening. And added things like date nights and like things to just revive the relationship.
So my story, very similar, but it sounds like yours was well received. Mine was very passive aggressive. This was old Renee. She would not do this today. But this was years ago when the boys were very young. Reminder that they're 11 months apart. So they were like 2 and 3 years old. And I was running my agency full-time, team of 12 clients from all over the world. And he was gone away for 2 weeks on his like annual snowboarding trip, whatever he was doing. And I was like holding down the fort. And it was the end of the first day. And I was like, this is so gnarly. This is gnarly that I would get up early to get work done, then get them ready, and then bring them to daycare, and then work all day, and then pick them up from daycare, do the nighttime routine, and then continue working. And I just was doing that and doing that. But anyways, it was the first day. At the time, we were using an app called Harvest, which allows you to track time. Because in the agency space, we were time tracking, not because we were being paid hourly, but we needed to get a sense of how much time people were allocating to certain tasks. So I created my own project to get a sense of how much this would cost if he was to hire somebody to take care of his kids at my rate, at my level of expertise, not a brand new like nanny coming in, like at my value. So for him to be gone for 2 weeks and me doing everything that I did, it cost $33,000. And when he came home, I emailed him an invoice and he looked at me and he goes, "What the F is this?" And I go, "This is everything I did for 2 weeks outside of running a business." And he was so angry. He was so angry. And it really started the process from there. After that, I demanded that our cleaning lady come a couple times a week as opposed to once. And it just kind of slowly became a full-time role, because I think the person who stays at home or is in the home has one of the most crucial, vital roles in the livelihood of your family life. Yeah. And there are people like maybe you, like maybe me, that don't want to do it. We don't want to be stay-at-home moms, and that's okay. But also that role has value. And if you're not going to be one of the partners doing it, then you actually have to hire somebody to do it. And so when he looked at the $33,000, he goes, "Wow, this is actually true. It's not far off," because it was everything. It was all the tasks, even after they went to bed, and it was the cleaning, and it was the lunch prep, and it was the laundry, and it was the groceries, and it just adds up. And I know there's a lot of people that have a 9-to-5 and they still do this all. But there's also a lot of people that have family and friends that help out. We didn't have anything, not a lick of help, nothing. So that was our kind of first very equal foray into the world of understanding the value of the person that comes in to take care of the household. It's the house manager. Okay, so now you have this job description. What do you guys do next?
So then we set off to find somebody. And first of all, I didn't know what to call it, because in, our current culture society, we're told, I think as parents, like, "Oh, you're feeling overwhelmed. You just need more childcare." And it was like, hold on, like, I don't need childcare. I don't need a nanny. Same as you. Like, we were dropping our kids off at childcare so that we could work like working hours. And like, we had cleaners that came. It wasn't about the cleaning or the childcare. It was all of the other stuff that I was doing to keep our household running. And so there wasn't this like obvious go-to. Like, what is this called? What do I even call this? What is this thing? Which is why I believe there's a massive gap in the market of, holistic, versatile support that families need. And so what I ended up doing was calling this a house manager. Some people call it a family assistant. Of course, I've learned a lot now that I've been in this sort of industry. But we set out and did so many interviews. I mean, we put that job up. We posted that job in lots of different places. I vetted candidates, went through applications, had calls with people. It took us like over maybe 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months to find someone that like I felt would be a really good fit for our family. And this wasn't a full-time job. I think that's a really important piece here, because I think some families think on the get-go, they hear us talking and they're like, oh yeah, these rich white ladies are like hiring full-time support and like they can afford to salary someone. No, that's like absolutely not the case. When we personally, like when we were finding and hiring this position, my husband was still starting a business. We were living on my salary, my corporate salary. We were like renting a home, right? But we realized like there are different ways that like we could spend our money. And this is one of the ways that we want to prioritize it, is like getting more support in our household. And so anyway, all of that to say, it took a long time. We hired someone 8 to 12 hours a week. I think like we wanted to start with the basics to see like, how does this help us really reclaim our time and our sanity? And we found her. She was amazing. She was like everything I needed and more, this like unicorn Mary Poppins that my family needed. And then she was with us for a little over 3 years. And then when we moved into our new house, just sort of in like the suburbs of Portland, Oregon, it was a little bit too far for her to go. She ended up also stepping into a social media manager role for Sage Haus.
Oh,
And she's now running our social media, funny enough, my old house manager. And we have a new house manager who's been with us for almost a year.
So you got me thinking that, this notion that this is only reserved for the affluent or the people that have a lot of money. But, if you're sitting at home, head to toe dripping Lululemon, and you're booking your next Disney cruise, or you're looking at the upgraded version of your vehicle, and you're burnt out and you hate everything you have to do, like you very likely have the resources to hire that help. People are just unwilling to give up those other luxuries in exchange for this help. Here's what happens when you do. Maybe take that Disney cruise out of your cart and maybe return some of those Lululemons. What happens is that you create more capacity in your life to do the things you love to do that doesn't involve going on a Disney cruise. Like some people just need to escape their life because it's so overwhelming that why not live a life that's not worthy of being escaped? Does that make sense?
Oh
so you
my
want to
gosh.
create like this household that is something you want to come home to every day. If you're an entrepreneur, that you leave the hubbub of whatever's going on at the office or the studio, which can be exhausting or it can be thrilling, but you still just want to go home to a home that's going to just wrap its cozy arms around you and say, welcome home. But some people would rather just be spending that money elsewhere. And like you said, it can start with 8 hours or 12 hours, or it could be like 5 hours a week. And the way that I do the math for this is not the 5 hours I gain back. It actually 2 or 3x's that time.
Totally.
Meaning that that person might do 5 hours of the work you were doing, but you're gaining back that 10 hours because you're reducing your mental load. That's the hugest thing.
So much. You're literally opening up like brain capacity, physical like capacity for you to take on more in your business, more capacity for emotional intelligence. Honestly, like for me and my kids, like really being able to be a more stable leader in my household because I'm not like so anxious about my constant like running my to-do list in my head. It makes me a better person a better friend, a better partner. Like, I think that's also a really big piece here. Is that, man, when you are in a relationship, a partnership where like you both want kids, but you also both want a career. And we see that, one parent is typically the default parent for one reason or another. And that default parent sees their partner still out in the world playing their dragon. Resentment starts to build. And it is about how can we like even this for both of us so that we can both achieve these goals that we both have as individuals and as a family unit.
Yeah, it's the tough conversation. Actually, on the founders hikes that we do here in Kelowna, there's been a couple that have come up a few times, and the husband asked, the default parent, like my wife's the default parent. And I think it's important to have one person who's like the emergency contact for like school and whatnot. But the lesson that I taught him was that the default parent isn't the one that has to do everything. They just have to own the outcome, like a CEO. So there has to be the emergency contact. And for us, I'd say 75% of the time, it's actually our house manager. It's crazy. It's not mom, it's not dad. And that was hard for me. That was a hard pill for me to swallow because all I thought about was all of the Karens out there saying, well, what's the point of having kids if you're not even going to be around to raise them? But my reply is, oh, but the quality of time I have with them now is insane. And I get to focus on my business, which fills up my left tank.
Yep.
So you can have both.
Yeah, you can absolutely have both. Yes. I mean, your capacity to be able to spend true quality time instead of like racing around with your kids just to stay. Yeah, I took them to soccer practice today. Like that doesn't cut it. That's not.
Do you think that like the house manager is a secret weapon to entrepreneur success?
100%. I think it's a secret weapon especially to entrepreneur success. I think that for small business owners, for people that are growing a business, every moment that you are not spending building your business better be time well spent. That is filling your bucket, that is filling your tank. And an entrepreneur knows like the value of their time. And if they don't, then they got to get up to speed here really, really quickly. Because there is this investment that you're making, you've got to make in yourself and you've got to make in your business for like long-term growth and success. For me, I started Sage Haus as a side hustle when I was working in my corporate job. And you bet your ass, I couldn't have started a side hustle if I was still doing 22 hours of a part-time job on top of my full-time job. Like quite literally, my business would not exist without the support of a house manager, someone that I can trust.
Same.
And anticipate our needs. Yeah. Like it wouldn't happen. Like if you're not pursuing a dream because you're doing the laundry, then we need to reevaluate.
Yep. Yeah. So I actually want to like double click on a very sensitive topic in this whole topic which is the hardest thing and the hardest conversation to have is especially around the woman, the mother, the wife, convincing her that this is something that needs to be done. Because that was tough for me because we are conditioned in our society as women to do it all. And that the house is our responsibility. The kids are our responsibility. And like we've gone away of the village. Like clearly it's our society is like the woman does all of the raising of the children. When the men can leave and conquer and do whatever the hell they want. And we're like, nope, we're changing that narrative. But it's still on us because of like generational trauma and conditioning. And now we're like, well, here's an opportunity to break free from that, but you have to be okay with somebody else doing these things. How does somebody have a conversation with the other partner who does not want to get on board?
I mean, these are really hard conversations to have. And I think I mean, one of the reasons I'm really appreciative just that you're having these conversations with Jillian Harris, with me, with like female entrepreneurs, is because I think the more we have these conversations and the more we can normalize this and really like start to break the cycle. I mean, like you totally hit the nail on the head in that like this is what we've been conditioned because this is what we've seen. I watched my mom do everything.
Same.
Like she did everything. And I also watched her develop a chronic illness and get really sick and watch I watched the candle burning on both ends and then burn out. And that was like a big reality check for me. And this is like one of the reasons all of this work that I do is it's very, very personal to me, because when I saw myself going down that path, I was like, hold on, time out. This is not what I want for me, because I watched it play out. But I will say that in terms of, having the conversation with your partner, I do think it can start, depends on your partner. I think, for me, my partner is super analytical. So I knew if I could go and hit him with like a spreadsheet. For you, it was like, I gotta hit him with money. I gotta hit him with an invoice.
Yeah.
So I think it's like partly knowing your partner, but I think that humans like can lead with empathy, and like they can understand as a partner, like if you are doing it all, if you're burning out, if there's a lot of resentment here, I think that they, if they are your partner, they've got to like open their heart to this, to breaking this cycle and like taking responsibility for like their part in it. And I think we've got a long way to go. I do think that we're starting to like put our foot down and we're starting to say like, let's make this make more sense.
Yeah.
I just still think we have a really long way to go.
I do believe it's breaking the cycle. And there's been instances when, Dan has said to me, well, Betty works for me. And I go, no, she works for us. And I go, if we didn't have her, here's what would happen is I would be the one responsible for all of this. Reality is that we're hiring her to do the contribution that you would normally do. Because that's where it really started. And he's like, oh shit. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mm-hmm. And now we have the best lawn on the street. Not because Betty mows the lawn, not because she fertilizes it or does anything, but because she manages the people that does it.
Yep.
And I just set the expectations. I go, here's a 10 out of 10 for the house. Here's a 10 out of 10 for the pantry, for the bedrooms, for the way the house should function on a day-to-day basis. And I go, that's all you got to do. You don't have to be the one that does the work, but you own the outcome.
You own the outcome. I love that.
And she does. And it was tough at first. Like I would find myself like sneaking in the laundry room on a Thursday night, like folding the extra sheets or the extra towels. And Dan would catch me. He's like, what are you doing? We hired somebody for that. I was like, just let me have this, please. Just let me have this for a second. Eventually I'll delegate. And I always want to be the one that leaves the house, like especially the kitchen, clean if I leave for the day or if I leave for the weekend. Dan doesn't care. That's not his standards. His standards are like, we have somebody that's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, they will clean it. And if it's like a Friday evening, I go, well, there's still the whole weekend. You should probably put that stuff away. It doesn't bother him, right? Because he knows someone's coming in to clean. For me, it's like, it needs to be done. But all this to say is that it took time for me to be okay in having somebody else in my house all the time.
Yeah.
And there are moments when I'm like, I just want to be alone in my home. But for those few moments versus having everything organized, the kids happy, healthy, fed, with clothes that fit, homework done, lunches packed, when I get home at the end of the day is pretty epic. We've played more board games, done more bike rides, hung out more one-on-one because of it. And it's buying back your time, but really it's like, it's investing in your freedom. It's investing in a calmer nervous system.
Yeah.
It's investing in a better and more epic family dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. And I think just like to double click on what you said, like nervous system, I mean, oh my gosh, like there are serious mental health outcomes here. Like we're seeing it. I mean, the US Surgeon General 2 years ago said like, parents are not okay, right? Like they are at maximum like anxiety, depression rates, like mental health is not good. There are ways for us to like control this and like keep our nervous system, like you said, like in check. And certainly getting the support and like building that village around you is, I mean, it's life changing. I mean, just the other day, like my kids got home. I think my son gets off the bus at like 3. He was around. My other 2 are still at daycare, and they got home at like 4:30. My house manager does pick up Sunday, so she brings them home. We were all like, let's go for a family bike ride. Let's see if dad can like jump out of his last meeting. And so we all go on a family bike ride for like an hour around the neighborhood. We get home and like, I just popped our dinner like in the oven or like in the microwave. I can't remember, but I basically just heated up something that was already made for us. Yeah. And I thought to myself, like, and I have to keep myself in check because I feel so, so grateful about like having this kind of support. But like, had I not had a meal like ready to go, I would have been like in my kitchen, making dinner, cleaning, scrubbing pots and pans for an hour instead of going on a bike ride with my kid.
Yeah.
Where we're like shooting the shit and like talking about their day and their highs and lows and having real connection time. And like, that is, to me, that is worth its weight in gold, not to mention the $35 an hour that I, spend on our meal prep chef.
And some families love to cook together and that's their thing. And that's fine. But it's finding what works for you and the help that you need. Like for me, I hate anything to do with the kitchen. I don't like cooking. I don't like cleaning up the kitchen. I'd rather scrub a toilet. But I don't mind folding clothes and putting that away. And I don't mind like other things. I love organizing. It's my favorite thing. I actually posted stories the other day about how I organized like the cord drawer and a book drawer, and it's very satisfying. Yeah. Beside the point is that I'm able to do the things that I enjoy with my family for myself. Like even at the end of the day when I get home and I'm exhausted, I know that I can just lay down on the couch at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I don't have to worry about what's for dinner, when do I have to get up and cook it, because the decision's already made. Dan and I have meal plan, and we have a weekly meal plan for the boys that we write on a little whiteboard every Sunday so they know what they're eating every day of the week. And it just simplifies things. And we get more snuggle time and I get more rest. But, we're in a very busy season now in preparation for our world tour. And I get that. But honestly, the house manager thing, it's still like, to some, it's a very pretentious thing. And to some, it's a stretch and it's definitely out of reach. I understand that. But I think where you begin is in the belief that you can have that help and the belief in that person can be in your life. And it might not be 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, but there's something there.
Yes.
And I think it's just deciding that you're worthy of more capacity, of more freedom. Most people don't think that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's a mindset. I think a lot of it is mindset. I mean, life is mindset, right? But like, I think this is definitely one of those things. And if we can overcome that of like, manifest this, visualize what your life would be like and look like and feel like with the support and system in place. It's certainly been life-changing for me, so much so that like I'm literally dedicated my career to helping other families find this kind of support. So
let's talk about some of those families. Are you in touch with people who've been placed with a good like support at home? How has it changed their lives?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, we placed close to 70 families this year, all over the US and Canada. Oh my gosh. We have such great stories. One is a family of 5 kids. Their dad is like an oral surgeon. They live, I think, in like the Ohio area, Midwest. And this mom was doing everything. I mean, forever. Like she was full-time stay-at-home mom, 5 kids, like all of these different schedules, feeding everybody, doing the grocery shopping, doing the laundry, managing the house, and plus they had a vacation home. Like she was doing all of this. Her husband was the one who came to us and said, she needs more support. Can you help us?
Wow.
Because he recognized that. And I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, we found them this incredible house manager, family assistant who also helps them like run kids around to different activities after school, all that good stuff. She and I got on a call 2 months after we had placed her with her house manager. And she was literally like on the verge of tears. And she was like, Kelly,
Mm.
you saved me. Like I didn't realize how much I was doing.
Yeah.
And she was like, and also I, for the first time in a decade, signed up for a half marathon. And she's like, I hired a running coach and like, I'm actually doing something for myself. And it's like, literally, it just like makes my heart sing. I'm like, this is so awesome because like, you're a person and like, you need to do things for yourself. So there's families like that. They're, gosh, like we've also worked with families who have aging parents, which I also think is a really amazing use case for a house manager. So of course, like kids and, dual income, no kids, but then there's also like families who live close to aging parents, like they're literally live on the same street, across the street, or they're like combining households, and having a house manager support because, as you have aging parents, you're also in a stage of like, wait, this is our life. Like we're going to go travel the world. We're going to go do a bunch of stuff. We're empty nesters now. But like we also want to take care of our parents. So like, how do we do that? So it's like having a house manager to help with all that stuff. It like running a mom and dad to doctor's appointments or picking up prescriptions or like making sure that like their pills are organized so that they take them every day. Like there's a lot of use cases for that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'd never even considered that. One thing that, because Betty's been with us for, 4 years now, maybe more, a little bit more. I can't remember. Anyway, that she's just so, like, she just knows what needs to be done. She just does it. But she does more things now, like sources income properties for us. She's doing real estate. She does all of our car paperwork, from like helping purchase new vehicles to winter tires, summer tires, insurance, passport renewals, like literally everything. She does everything. I come home and everything's organized there. Any paperwork, stuff that needs to be signed, it's all we have a system. It's on the table with little Post-it notes of where to sign, what it's for. Boom, boom, boom. It's just like, the house operates like it has a full-time CEO living in it. Like you do this for your business.
Yes.
Right? And you like systematize the business. The business is running smoothly. You go home and it's chaos. Why don't you start at home? Why don't we start organizing our home life a little bit more? And it's also
the foundation.
It is a foundation. But what we've done too, because like the thing that comes up is, aren't you afraid of raising entitled children? And I go, oh, that's a great question, right? Because now we have this full-time support at home. That the kids they know, we're very clear with them that Betty works for us, not them. And when she started with us, all of a sudden they got a massive chore list. Not because she delegated, but I said, I don't want you doing anything for my boys that they're capable of doing. They do their own laundry, they make their own beds, they do their own lunches for camps and school, all that stuff. They would take the dog out for a walk, they take the garbage out, garbage in. They do more now that we have her full time than before.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think I get that question all the time. Like, how am I going to raise my kids if someone else is doing all this stuff? My kids are on the younger side, but like same thing. Like you set up systems and chores for them to still learn responsibility.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my kids, they know they bring their plate over to the sink. They load the dishwasher. And my kids are like, because they always have to wait to help clean up the table before they can like go play. So my kids are like literally standing there ready with like the cleaning spray and a paper towel. They're like, hey, are you done eating? Are you done eating? We're ready to clean the table. I'm like, yeah. And I think it's funny because I do think that is, that is
it's
like
a concern.
Yeah.
Max, who's 13, is already started saving up to buy his first car.
Amazing.
Yeah. He's like, he knows how much it's going to cost. So he's putting like over $1,000 aside. And like every time he gets paid, he's going to put that in the slush fund, because he connects like having a car. So this is like, he's got 3 years to go, essentially, maybe a little bit more. That equals freedom.
It is.
It's freedom for him.
Yeah.
And we're not buying the car for him. They don't get paid for chores. That's the other thing too. Anything that they do around the house is just because you live there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put my laundry away. It's because I live there and I want a clean and tidy home. Yep. They get money from like for birthdays, for Christmases. They'll earn a little thing doing jobs here and there, and it eventually adds up. But yeah, so like the question about raising entitled children comes up, and I said no. This actually put a spotlight on that potential, and we made sure it wasn't going to happen. Now they can ask for help if something comes up and they need help, but for the most part, it's like they own the outcome of their chore list on a day-to-day basis. They know who owns the dog on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, throughout the weekend, and all the stuff that they have to do. Any other like really incredible stories? Like I never even considered the helping with the aging parents thing. That is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good one. I mean, yeah, I think we've seen a lot of, like I mentioned, like dual income, no kids actually too. And that is like really interesting because for me, my story was like, I felt really overwhelmed because like, I feel like I was adding more bodies to my home and like, that's really what hit for me. But there are a lot of like executives who are traveling so much for work all the time that like, but they still want this like wonderful home to come home to that like a house manager or someone can manage, like vendors. They're like, maybe they're doing a remodel in their home and they're literally not there because they're traveling that week. Right. Like, so I think there's a lot of people like that. We worked with this really sweet dad, in like the New Jersey area, a dad of 2 teenage boys, and super, super devastatingly, he lost his wife really suddenly last fall. And I just so happened to like know him through a friend. They put us in touch, and I was like really, really touched by his story. And basically like his friend was the one who said, his friend and business partner was like, he needs support because here's all of this stuff like his wife was doing. Like she was a teacher, so she worked, but she had, she had summers off and like had a more flexible schedule, like was home when the other kids got home from school. So she did a lot too. Yeah. And we found this family like the perfect house manager fit for their family, for like, someone who was really good with like teenage boys who were kind of going through like a really tough grief time. And someone that like he could really lean on to take over. Like, they had a meal train that lasted for like several months, but he realized, he was like, this isn't going to last forever. Like my community has been really amazing, but like we need someone who can help me do all of these things. And I mean, his testimonial is incredible. And I'm just like really, really happy that we could help them find more support. So I think single parents, like that's a big one too. Like I can't even imagine, like I couldn't do this as a single parent.
Oh God, no.
And so, I mean, so many good stories. Like, I don't know, it like literally makes me so happy and proud to get family support, and just change the mindset for many moms. And I love when dads approach us and they're like, hey, this makes tons of sense. Yeah. We need this.
Yeah. Support my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about this a lot, and it's actually in Dan's book, Buy Back Your Time. Cause it's been just that role, but even just like the energy of it, but finding the person, like, oh my gosh, we love Betty and we love her husband. We actually co-parent our dog with Betty. So we're going on this world tour and they're taking the dog, and she'll take him home some weekends and some nights. So like there's an art in finding the right person too. It's not just saying, I'm going to make the decision to get the person. And this is what you guys do, right? Is you create the fit between the person who wants to be the house manager and the people seeking that help. So explain to us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. And that is, that's all the hard work that kind of goes into this. So, that's what we're very, very good at. So we work with families, like I mentioned, all over the US and Canada, and it's a finite number. So, we're a small but mighty team, and we really pride ourselves on like working in this sort of concierge fashion with families, because we really deeply care about getting to know you, your needs, your routines, your pain points and challenges. And like, who is the perfect person for your family? Like every family is a little bit different in what they need, in the type of like personality or characteristics that their house manager, family assistant that they might be looking for. So we get super, super clear with the family on like, what are they looking for? And then we go out and do all of that hard work. So like posting jobs, finding where top tier candidates live, based on like different geographic areas in different places. It's different. And then we go through, we get so many duds, Renee. Like there's so many duds. You got to
Yeah.
go through all the riffraff
Yeah.
to get to the gold. Like
Yeah.
you got to dig deep to get to the gold. And that's what we do. And that's what we're really good at, is finding these incredible house manager family assistants that are extremely capable. They understand the mental load, the invisible labor, the way that they can take things off of the plate and anticipate families' needs. And that's like the kind of person that we look for and that we place with families. And then we handle that whole process. So basically, like a family comes to us within 4 to 6 weeks, we deliver them 2 top candidates of like, here is the cream of the crop. Here's what we found. We did our work. We went through all the duds, and these are the ones that would both be perfect for your family. And then we work with them throughout the process. So typically, like, a family moves forward with one or the other candidate, and then we provide them with everything they need. Employment agreement. We run references, and we'll do the calls and provide summaries. We run like the most extensive background check on the market because we want to have peace of mind. We want our families to have peace of mind. And then we help them onboard their house manager family assistant with these sort of like proprietary home systems that we've developed after like 2+ years of working with lots of families, of like, here's all of the basics. Here's all of the ways in the system that you need to make your support successful. And then they ride off into the sunset and
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after. That's kind of how it works.
I love that. So you've created like systems, like SOPs and stuff. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, exactly. It's like the way we see it is, we call this our home systems playbook, but really there are like 3 core systems that you have to like master, along with a lot of other like checklists or like things that happen seasonally, things that, things like you mentioned, like keeping track of passport expiration dates, stuff like that. But the 3 core systems that we provide these sort of like SOPs around are feeding the family. So like everything that goes into keeping stock and track of groceries and pantry and items, and then helping with like the planning, conceptualization, planning and execution of like meals and prep for the family. And then the second system is like the keeping the house clean system, which would include things like managing landscapers or other vendors, or laundry schedules, or like tidying the house, organizing, decluttering, donations, all that stuff. And then the last one is like plants and pets care. So it's like, what are the other living things in the house, or like car care?
Yeah.
Like for you, it would be like the car care stuff. Like that's a big system.
Oh, that's well, because we have like 11 vehicles in our fleet, it's actually takes up a lot of her time.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you need it. You can't just like fly by the seat of your pants. You need like a system.
Oh yeah, because there's always something. If it's not one car, it's the next car. It's like winter tires, summer tires, oil changes. Oh, that car needs to go back for servicing. There's always something. And then even with like our irrigation system, like there was one part of our irrigation system that wasn't watering, and all of a sudden plants started to die. And I'm like, I don't have the time to figure out the thing, but Betty knew. And the way that we work is we work through Voxer. So anytime I'm away or I have a thought, I would just send her a Voxer note. So it's like a walkie-talkie app.
Yeah.
And then she just writes things down. So I'm like, hey, irrigation left side of the house not working. So she'll write it down. That's all I got to do. It's like, oh, can you make sure that we pack our boots for this weekend? And then she'll write it down. Mm-hmm. So things come to me, and I let it out right away. And we just created our own systems, our own operating systems at home. We have literally like the Martel clan playbook, which has all of our doctors, teachers, like everybody's in one place. Like there's no question about who's doing what and who to call. It's all in there.
Yep. Communication policies, thinking through, like also I think it's important too to like document the relationship with your house manager. So like we recommend having things like, what is the policy around like expenses and tracking and, all of those pieces of the household, like, PTO and sick time policies, and like basically the things about like being a household employer are also like a big piece of that. And that's, I think, a really big question mark for families too. A lot of them come in and they're like, wait, what does this mean for me? Like, now I'm a household employer. Like, what do I need to do? And really like, so what we want to own, like what Sage House really wants to own is like this basically whole category from like finding you the right person, making sure that they're onboarded successfully and their systems in place. And then eventually like getting to the point where it's like you're tracking time and we can do compliance and we can do payroll all here at Sage House for your house manager or family assistant.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like you just plug in to you, boop, plug in, boop, find the person. There we go. Because there's different ways of doing it. I mean, for us, like Betty is an employee of the company. She's a personal assistant and house manager. She does it all. I mean, there's different ways of setting up the structure. And this is the way that works for us. Is there anything else you want to add?
Gosh, I think we touched on it a little bit, but like, I just feel like we are at a turning point, and I feel really, really proud of us for that. And I appreciate you having these conversations and just your transparency around the support and like the resources that you have and the way you've thought about this, like throughout, your career and your season of life as a mom. Like, I just think the more we can have these conversations, the more we're normalizing it, and that we're bringing light to how approachable, affordable, attainable this really can be for anyone. And I'm just mostly grateful to be having this conversation with you.
I know. I love it. I love it so much. Have you asked me like 6 years ago, 7 years ago to have it, I'd be like, nope, this is not what we're doing. But it is one of the greatest kept secrets. And now we talk about it publicly. But it is the secret sauce to an entrepreneurial household. And you've even proven that it's not just reserved for entrepreneurs, which I love. But having this conversation, entertaining it, figuring out how you can have like a little foot in the door to get this process started is so important. So if people want to go online to find you, Kelly, where can they go?
They can mostly find me on Instagram at my Sage Haus, spelled Haus. That's usually like where I hang out. I'm on LinkedIn too, Kelly Hubbell. And I would love to hear from anyone. I'd love to help. I'd love to help you find someone that you can fully rely on to further your career or your ambitions, or just find more presence with your family. So
do it. And I got all the links in the show notes too. So Kelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.